The world's oldest man-made structures. You're not going to find ancient Egyptian pyramids or even Stonehenge on this list because all of these structures are even older. From a stone wall that's over 20,000 years old to an ancient burial chamber with mysterious, undecipherable engravings, here's the world's oldest surviving structures built by humans. Number 19. Sectionbajo. We're kicking off our list with what is probably the oldest structure and center of civilization in the Western Hemisphere. It's located 210 miles northwest of Lima, Peru. The oldest parts of Sectionbajo are a plaza which was constructed in 3500 BC and a frieze of a man holding unknown objects which has been carbon dated all the way back to 3600 BC, making it over 5,500 years old.
Number 18.
Pentefan. What you're looking at is the entrance to a Neolithic dolmen, or type of tomb. Built in around 3500 BC, this collection of 7 principal stones, which weighs an approximate 16 tons, is believed to have once been surrounded by a large mound, as you can see in this reconstruction. The structure has become a famous image associated with the country in which it lies, Wales. Photographs of the site like this exist from the 1800s.
Number 17.
West Kennet Long Barrow. Built around 3600 BC, Neolithic people used this long tomb for burials for over 1,000 years. Experts estimate that it took builders 15,700 total man-hours to complete the tomb, which is just south of Avebury in Wiltshire, England. When archaeologists conducted excavations in the mid-19th and mid-20th centuries, they found a total of at least 46 burials, ranging from babies to elderly people.
Number 16.
Gandia. After Göbekli Tepe, which you'll learn about later in this video, Gandia, or Giant's Tower, is the oldest man-made religious structure known to still be standing. The temple complex was constructed on the modern-day Mediterranean island of Gozo, starting sometime around the year 3600 BC. Considering its age, the site is in a remarkable state of preservation.
Number 15.
Listowel. Sitting amongst a group of prehistoric tombs known as the Carrowmore Group in County Sligo, Ireland, Listowel is considered Carrowmore's most important site because it seems to be the central tomb with all other tombs oriented towards it. It's one of the oldest used passage tombs and was probably built sometime around 3700 BC.
Number 14.
Napa Power. Located in picturesque fashion on the Scottish island of Papa Westray, this Neolithic farmstead contains what is likely the oldest preserved stone house in Northern Europe. It was occupied as far back as 3700 BC. The site itself contains 2 structures built with stone with a passageway between them. Though it appears that the structure was built into the earth, it was freestanding when originally constructed.
Number 13.
Mont de Okati. The oldest part of this ancient site dates as far back as 4000 BC. Its most striking feature is quite obviously its massive raised platform, which at one time was thought to have been used as an altar. It seems to have been built by an ancient culture called the Ozieri, who either abandoned or destroyed the structure sometime around 3000 BC. It's not known what exactly happened, but traces of fire have been found in the archaeological evidence. It was later used by the Abilazu Filigosa culture starting in around 2800 BC to sacrifice animals, making it one of the earliest known sacrificial sites in Western Europe.
Number 12.
Locmariak Megaliths. This complex of Neolithic structures in Brittany, France contains a dolmen known as the Table des Marchands and the broken menhir of Ir Gras, the largest single stone block to have been transported and erected by Neolithic people. That stone dates to around 4700 BC and is thought to have been broken sometime around 4000 BC.
Number 11.
Tumulus de Disinac. Apparently, this insanely old structure has 2 burial chambers, one of which contains strange engravings that, so far, have stumped linguists who've tried to decipher their meaning. Found just west of Saint Nazaire, France, this tumulus dates back to around 4500 BC.
Number 10.
Les Foalages. When this burial site on Guernsey was first constructed sometime around the year 4500 BC, it was covered by a mound and surrounded by granite blocks. It seems to have been used several times, once from 4500 to 4000 BC, and then again thousands of years later from 3000 to 2000 BC. Though no remains were found in the burial chambers, there was other evidence of human presence like pottery shards and stone tools.
Number 9.
Tumulus Saint Michael. Both this and the Tumulus de Bougon lie in France and both were constructed sometime in the 5th millennium BC. This tumulus, however, is bigger. As a matter of fact, it's the largest grave mound in continental Europe, measuring 125 meters long, 50 meters wide, and 10 meters high. When it was first explored by modern humans in 1862, researchers found a central vault that contained funerary furniture like axes and pearls. These artifacts were saved and could be found in the nearby Karnak Museum.
Number 8.
Tumulus de Bougon. This group of 5 barrows, which are mounds of earth raised over a gravesite, was erected sometime around 4800 BC, in present-day France. When they were initially discovered in 1840, it raised a great amount of shock and interest in the scientific community. During excavation of one of the barrows, archaeologists found around 200 skeletons placed in 3 layers, separated by stone slabs. Strangely, pottery suggesting cold activities along with the skull of a man who had holes drilled into his skull 3 times in an archaic effort to treat unknown health problems were found on site.
Number 7.
The Cairn of Barnenez. One of the oldest man-made structures in the world, Barnenez was built in present-day northern France in around 4800 BC. It's the largest megalithic mausoleum in Europe and predates the pyramids in Egypt. The structure contains a stone burial chamber with 11 passage tombs that, unfortunately, aren't open to the public.
Number 6.
Khirokitia. Found on the island Cyprus, this settlement was last occupied in around 6000 BC. For unknown reasons, the village was abandoned, and it's very likely humans didn't occupy the island continuously for another 1500 years, though that claim has been disputed. The site in its heyday was surrounded by a stone wall that protected the round structure within. The population, which likely numbered no more than 600 at any given time, were short, with the average height being around 5 feet tall and typically only lived to their early 30s.
Number 5.
Catalhoyuk. This large Neolithic settlement in Turkey thrived from around 7500 BC to 5700 BC. Those scant remains are all that is left of Catalhoyuk, which is Turkish for fork mound. Experts say that the community was around 7,000 strong on average and lived in mud brick houses. These homes were smushed together, with the only ventilation coming from a ceiling opening, which doubled as an entrance to the dwellings.
Number 4.
Tower and Walls of Jericho. Located in Jericho, which is in the West Bank near the Jordan River, this tower was built around 11,000 years ago by hunter-gatherers who were on the cusp of transitioning to farming. No one's quite sure what it was built for, though some theorize that it was a mechanism to motivate people to be a part of a communal lifestyle. Others believe that the tower and wall it sits beside were the first line of defense and to protect the settlement from flooding.
Number 3.
Göbekli Tepe. For years, researchers ignored or at best scoffed at Turkey's Göbekli Tepe, thinking it was simply a medieval cemetery. However, German archaeologist Klaus Schmidt found that the massive carved stones were around 11,000 years old, and, remarkably, that they were crafted and arranged by people who had not yet developed metal tools. What exactly these people did at the structure remains a mystery. Schmidt, who passed away in 2014, believed the sites were early Neolithic sanctuaries that were used as holy sites.
Number 2.
Tel Caramel. Carbon dating puts Tel Caramel, a site in present-day Syria, which was once a permanent stone settlement, somewhere between 11,000 BC and 9650 BC, making it by most accounts the second oldest known man-made structure in the world. We got some great comments on our 20 World's Most Amazing Birds video, and here's a few of them. We're really glad some of you find these birds as fascinating as we did. Thanks as always for watching. Don't forget to push that subscribe button, and look out for the next Knowledge Feed video, which is, of course, coming soon.
Number 1.
Theo Petra Stone Wall. We know today that humans inhabited these caves for over 130,000 years. Elements of the cave, which is in Greece, still show clear traces of humans evolving from Neanderthals to Homo sapiens, and then from hunter-gatherers to farmers. Amazingly, experts believe that this wall, built at the entrance of the cave and seen here on Pinterest, is 23,000 years old, making it the oldest known man-made structure in the world.